Alright, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Beat Street. Um, this is a 1984 flick about breakdancing, rap, or whatever it was called. You know, people in Puma jumpsuits doing popping and breakdancing, that kind of stuff. I actually knew a white kid in my junior high school who brought his boombox. Actually, he was going out with a girl that I had a crush on, Brooke Gurkey. I forgot his friggin' name, but he was like having sex with her. At least my friend said so when he was like 12 or 13, 14. Whenever he reached the age of puberty, he was already banging her. And he brought this big boombox, and he was blasting the song Lowrider, which isn't really a rap song. It's more like a song about Lowrider that Flipper kind of parodied in their song, parodied, I should say. Yeah. So I'm not going to talk about all the different racial groups or nothing like that, because each person is a unique sovereign individual, as evidenced by this white dude who was popping to his boombox playing Lowrider. Me and my friend Matt Krantz, we were just laughing at him. Matt Krantz, later on in life, probably 10 years later, he was working at some tire place, probably making minimum wage, which tells a lot about Matt Krantz. I spent the night at Matt Krantz's house, and I watched Christine and Joysticks, I think, because dude had cable and he thought he was cool letting us watch his rated R movies like that. Those were crazy days. But 1984, this movie came out, and apparently it's the first movie with rappers in it. I recognize Molly Mall and Kool Moe Deep. This is just like this movie sucks. It's like a big 1 hour 45 minutes version of Yo MTV Raps. I guess MGM and Orion wanted to capitalize on the hip hop craze, which lasted about 1 year, and then people started smoking glass pipes and shit. Freeway Ricky Ross took over Los Angeles, and crack cocaine was a big hit of 1985, I guess, if my history is correct. But anyway, I hated this movie. It sucked. Like I said, it was like a big long music video. It's basically a bunch of break dancers, DJs, and taggers, graffiti, so-called artists, or in the Bronx. The Bronx looks like it got hit by a bomb. It's reminds me of Combat Shock in that regard, which is not to say that this is a good movie, but just reminding me of Combat Shock. So these guys are just putzing around most of the time, staying up till midnight doing their DJing and breakdancing and tagging. One of them gets electrocuted, which is almost like justice, because the guy thinks he's an artist. I remember back in 1984, there were a lot of people like that, wannabe breakdancers, poppers, graffiti taggers, DJs, whatnot, back in the early days of rap. And they just thought they were the coolest thing on the planet. They thought they were art on par with Michelangelo, Raphael, you know, whatever. But they weren't, of course. They were just violating property rights and putting their spray paint on property that didn't belong to them. Although, technically, subway trains aren't anybody's property. They kind of funded by taxpayer dollars, which explains the sorry state that they're in. Yeah, the tax dollars kind of disappear into a black hole, which kind of explains why they're easy targets for taggers. But anyway, that's one thing that pissed me off about the movie. The one tagger, Ramon, I guess his name is, or whatever, the Puerto Rican dude. He thinks he's an artist, and he ends up getting electrocuted, which, like I say, is kind of poetic justice. Like in Friday the 13th, you want all those 30-year-old teenagers to die. It's kind of like that. And the movie sucked. It's just like one party after another. And the love interest is Tommy Chong's daughter. She was also in Boulevard. I've never seen her in a movie that I actually enjoyed, although she's a Canadian actress from Edmonton, I think, which is kind of interesting. Don't know how she ended up there, but she's pretty good looking. I mean, yeah, she played a prostitute in Boulevard, but that movie I didn't like neither. Now this movie I really didn't like. I hated this movie. Gave it 1 star on Netflix, and yeah, avoided it at all costs. Other than vague memories of shitty life in junior high school, 1984. Yeah, I almost got held back 1 grade, and I was getting into fights, flirting with girls too much. They couldn't figure out why my grades were so bad, but then I went to Sarah, a Catholic school here in San Mateo, and I got an A in pre-algebra. So that pretty much explains why government operations or government schools are pretty bad. I don't send my kids to government schools. The kids are mostly bullies, like I said. And 1984 was no exception. It was not a good year for me because I was stuck in that prison at 14 years old. I didn't enjoy it. But anyway, that's a little retrospective. That's the only recollection I remember from that year. The movie came out. I used to wear those Puma jumpsuits to school because I thought Run DMC looked cool in those, in their music videos. I haven't listened to Run DMC for about a good 30 years, something like that. Anyway, I used to be into this kind of music, even in high school. We used to run around and play football to this kind of that kind of stuff. All the songs sound the same pretty much. Not too original, but yeah, it's good stuff to play football. Kind of gets you sweating and running around a lot. Anyway, that's my review. I much preferred the second wave of hip hop. You know, the Wu-Tang Clan and those kind of guys. The Hieroglyphics, Doom, those kind of guys. But that was just me. And Kevy Kev used to be on Stanford Radio. I don't think he's doing it anymore, but he was doing it for like 20 years or whatever. That was a cool show. Anyway, Um, the music in this sucks. The movie sucks. It's just a big long music video, pretty much. Like most movies from 1984. So, like I said, avoid it at all costs, players.